Hi everybody, Bearded Rogue here, and today I'm going to talk to you about a new tool that I've discovered called Paperize. Paperize is amazing, and it has totally changed my life as a designer. It's currently in beta. The people behind it are at Oil and Rope on Twitter. I found out about it through Grant Rodiek, who's Hyperbole Grant on Twitter. Um, it's a rapid prototyping tool. It's specifically for cards, and it's very, very good at cards. If you are designing games and you are not using spreadsheets to keep track of all of the cards in your game, the abilities they have, the quantities they have, and editing them periodically, then you should start. And Paperize is one of the reasons why. I was already doing this. Excel is one of the few tools that I have access to all the time. So being able to create a spreadsheet and maintain the spreadsheet with all of the data on all of the cards in my game, regardless of where I'm at, is very useful. I use Google Sheets as well. You can use Google Sheets, which is their version of Excel, their spreadsheet program in Google Drive. But either way, you should be using spreadsheets. Particularly in card games. They're very, very useful for tracking long lists of things like that. So, what Paperize lets you do is take that spreadsheet with all of the different columns in it and all the different values, and you need to save it as a comma-delimited file, comma-separated file. And then you can load it up into Paperize and generate decks of cards out of it. So Paperize has this GUI, this graphical user interface front end, and all these different templates, these different card layouts that you can pick from. And so what you do is you pull up the template that you want after loading your file in, and then you plug and play the values. You tell it in the top right box on this template, I want it to have this number, and I want this middle box to be an image, and I want this lower box to have the actual rules text of the card, etc., etc. And so you just load up your spreadsheet, tell it where to put all the information, then it automatically generates a PDF of all of the cards that you ask for in that format. And you can preview it, you can then save it at that point, you can upload it to various things, save it, and then upload it, and then link it for people. But it's allowed me to not only create prototypes much more rapidly, like I can change one card ability and then immediately have a brand new prototype ready to go. So that's amazing. But on top of that, I can now generate print and plays, which is something I was never really able to do before. Like, previously, creating a print and play for me, or just creating a physical version of my game, would be me and Microsoft Word and days, as I would try to use the rulers and tables to create a 3x3 grid of cards on one page, and then inside each one of those use tabs and spaces to separate everything out where I wanted it to be roughly, and then cutting and pasting images in and trying to line everything up, and it was just an absolute nightmare. Microsoft Word is not a graphical design tool. It just happens to be one of the few things that I know how to use to generate media. So it and PowerPoint, which I used for tokens, were the two primary things that I used in all of my graphic design and build on Elements, which was horrible. It was serviceable, it worked as a prototype, it got me all the way to my first Unpub experience, but it was not pretty, and it was not quick. Like, when you had to make changes into a document, you had to go in and change every individual copy of every card, and then make sure you didn't screw up any of your margins, or throw anything off, or it was just an absolute mess. Whereas in Paperize, I just use the spreadsheet I'm already creating anyway, and instantly have a brand new prototype. And it's fantastic. Like, if it could do tokens, it would be amazing. I did find one template, if any of you have access to it. There's one template that's 4 images on a card in quadrants. It's really easy to throw 4 images of the tokens that you want into that template and then print it out en masse, so you can get 4 tokens per card that way, which will let people print them out and then do what they will with them. So that's one thing that you can do that I found that already exists. But if it did tokens or square cards or hexes or a few other things, like Board Game Designer wouldn't need anything else other than the craft supplies to cut it out, sleeve it up, and get it to the table. Like, it's really that great of a tool. I've gotten all of Build the Robots in there now, and I'm working on creating an optional file that contains all of the tokens if somebody doesn't have all of the cubes and stuff necessary. I'm putting Dice Heroes in there. Obviously, I can't have them print out dice, but I can get all of the cards for that game, which has an absolute ton of cards. And I could even put elements in there if I wanted to. It would be really simple to generate a prototype and change it all in a matter of minutes instead of a matter of hours or a matter of days. Or it's one of the greatest things that I've ever encountered as a game designer. Like I said, it's still in beta. You can apply for the beta. I don't know how many more people they're accepting, but they really have a fantastic product here for game designers. It's amazing. Like, it takes all of the wonderful things that I've heard about everybody who knows how to do mail merges over and over and over again, and puts it into a web GUI that anybody could use. Anybody. I don't care. You could have kids designing games in this. It's that simple. The hardest part for them would be saving the Excel file or the spreadsheet in the correct format to upload it. It's amazing. I just can't say enough about it, and since it's been one of the highlights of this week, I figured I'd go ahead and bring it up on my vlogs, since it's totally changed my life this week and made things a lot easier. So, Paperize, check it out. It is awesome.